former receiving great and Brandon's coach throughout some of the off seasons in the past, T.J. Houshmandzadeh. Hey, T.J., what's cooking, man?
Mike, how you doing, bro? I'm good. How are you?
Everything is fine. What's your take on the emotions that Aiyuk showed right after the loss, combined with family members on social media insinuating that his time as a Niner is done?
That's normal, man. When you lose a big game like that, emotions are extremely high. You feel as if, man, because you care about him so much. If he would have gotten the ball more, if he would have had more opportunities, maybe we win the game. And some will point to, well, in the games you won, he only had 3 catches. Yeah, when you win, we don't worry about that. When we lose, it's a problem. And so it's just the emotional aspect of losing a big game. And when you look at just the Niners in general, they're going to have to make some decisions as far as who are they going to pay, who will not be paid, who will be released. I mean, there's a lot of things that's going to go into them trying to maintain the core that they have and still remain competitive.
When you look at the tape and you see 3 catches for Brandon, you see a couple of plays where he broke open and other plays where he was contained by man coverage. What are your takeaways just from Brandon's performance against a good Kansas City secondary?
BA is one of the best receivers in the league. I'm going to just be honest. I don't think anybody on the Chiefs team can cover him man-to-man without help. That's just my opinion of knowing the game of football. I mean, you got to think on – it looked like it was a screen and go. If he stays outside a little bit more, that's where Purdy threw the ball because the safety was in the middle of the field. It's probably a touchdown. Probably misread it himself. Purdy threw it a little far outside. But those things, that's going to happen in the game of football. But when it comes to strictly you covering me man-to-man with no help, there's not many guys in the league that's going to stop BA out of 10 times.
TJ, it's interesting because our colleague, Bucky Brooks, and he was on with us yesterday, has been getting into it on social media saying that Aiyuk and Debo are both tremendous playmakers, yak guys, but not elite route runners and therefore can struggle with man-to-man. Yep, go ahead.
Wrong. Bucky's wrong. He's wrong. And I know route running, and I'm not going to disrespect Bucky in that way, but when it comes to route running, he's wrong as 2 left feet. BA can run routes with the best of them, create separation with the best of them. I don't watch as much Debo because I don't know Debo that well. I know football. Debo is more of a football player. He may be somewhat correct about Debo. With BA, come on, Bucky, what you watching?
When you look at the Niners offense, TJ, do you see that the Niners are using him the right way, or are they misusing him in terms of just not giving him enough targets and enough one-on-one matchup possibilities?
I'm going to just say this. Debo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle. When you have all those guys on the same side of the ball that are tremendous playmakers, it gets hard. That's not easy to just, we going to feed Aiyuk. You got all these other guys that can make plays. And so it makes it hard to say, let's get this guy the ball. This is a team that has so many weapons. That is not an easy job for Shanahan to kind of figure out, okay, who's going to get this touch? Okay, that's not easy. And so I don't want to sit there and say, Aiyuk should be having this many targets per game. When you play with those type of players, you're going to have certain games where you get 5, 6 targets, and you hope you can get 2 to 3 catches out of that, ideally 4 to 5, but that's the nature of the beast when you're on a successful team that wins as much as they do.
Okay, so TJ Houshmandzadeh joining us. TJ, therefore, is Brandon kind of built for that? And here's what I mean by that. Does Brandon want to be a part of an offensive group with tons of weapons where he won't quite get as many catches? Or do you think he'd like to spread his statistical wings elsewhere?
That's a question you would have to ask him. Like, if I'm in his position, I want to win. I want to get paid, because we all know when they pay you big money, they are going to look to get you the ball, because that's why they're paying you big money. And so you will not get a hefty contract without a bunch of targets. Always understand that. But you want to win first and foremost. You want to win, and you want to get paid what your talent deserves. I mean, he had 1,300 yards. His first team All-Pro. He's All-Pro. And so did he have a ton of catches? No, but he had a ton of big plays that impacted the game. And so if I'm Aiyuk, I want to win. I want to get paid. And everything else will take care of itself because he's a baller.
And you look at the situation he has at quarterback, do you think that Brock Purdy and his continual progression provides Brandon enough upside as a quarterback, or do you think that Brock Purdy would eventually limit what Brandon can do as a receiver?
No. All the narrative that I hate when a guy is drafted late and he plays well. He's an overachiever. Oh, it's everybody else. No, Brock Purdy can really play. I have to watch my language real quick. Brock Purdy can really play. It's because he has all these guys on the offense that are really good. You got Trent Williams, you got McCaffrey, you got Aiyuk, you got Debo, you got Kittle, all those guys that I named earlier. And so they don't want to give Purdy his just due. But if Purdy was drafted higher, they would be saying he's great. And so I like Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy can play. It's just they have to figure out how to win the big game because now Shanahan is 0 for 3 in a Super Bowl as a coordinator and head coach. In a minute, he got to start looking in the mirror. And I think Shanahan is one of the best coaches in the league, no question. Can't lose another one, though, because you lose another one, it's you.
T.J. Houshmandzadeh, what do you know about being drafted in the 7th round and then playing well?
That's what they do, bro. You get drafted late, overachiever. No, you just evaluated him wrong. He wasn't evaluated the correct way. You can't really judge somebody's composure, his mental makeup, his ability to process information quickly without panicking. That's what Brock Purdy does, and he throws the ball accurately. He's going to miss throws just like anybody else, but I like Brock Purdy.
TJ, you know about this. You were once a big-name receiver opposite another big-name receiver, and you know how teams approach the cap. The idea of almost $50 million to 2 receivers is very rare. So, give it to us. If you're the 49ers, how would you play this with these 2 guys?
You can do it. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Debo's contract next year is the final year in his contract, if I'm not mistaken. Ideally, you want to keep the younger guy. That's just the way the NFL works. But if they don't re-sign BA, he's going to be fine because finding a good receiver that can get open, that can run, that's shifty, that can block, you don't find all of that in one receiver. And so either way it goes, he's going to be fine. But if I'm the 49ers, I find a way to make it work because then you're going to have to go try to find somebody that can do what he's done, and it's not that easy.
I know you're not BA's agent. You're his coach and probably a personal advisor. But when you look at some of the other receivers on that top paid list, where do you think that BA, Brandon Aiyuk, should fall on that list of highest paid wide receivers?
That's a tough question because when you look at Tyreek Hill being the highest paid, believe he has a salary of like 40-something million to kind of push the average per year up. But BA is for sure one of the top 10 receivers in the league, and you can mix and match between all the guys that are at the top, and you're going to come out with a different top 10. But you want to be rewarded for what you've done. Now, is BA going to want to be the highest paid? Of course he's going to want to be the highest paid. Will that happen? Probably not. As long as he's rewarding his agent feel that is fair, I'm sure BA will have no problem. I want the best for him because I know the type of work that it takes to play at this level. The sacrifice you have to put in is not easy. The amount of pain that your body is in and week out, the way you push yourself in the offseason. I don't think people want to come work out with him one day and see how that one workout is today, and then you're going to do probably a harder one tomorrow. It's not easy. And, they get paid all this money. Come put the work in with him and see if you could do it.
TJ, have you talked to him since the Super Bowl?
Briefly. Just text, man. Keep your head up. You'll be good. And, yeah, I'll see you soon. That was it.
Yeah, here's what I'm wondering. I wonder if you were sitting with him, and whether it's advising him or just being a friend or whatever, and within hours after the Super Bowl, you've got your girl on TikTok saying this might be the last time we're at Levi's Stadium. You got your brother on IG saying we out. Like what's your advice to him about that?
They can't do that. They know that. I'm sure he said something afterwards. But again, when you love somebody, man, you do things you shouldn't do. When you genuinely care about somebody and there's a lot on the line and you know what they've gone through to get to that point, the working out, the sacrifices they've made, it's just frustrating. I'm sure they regret it, but once you put that out there, what can you do? But yeah, I just look at it as it's somebody they genuinely care and love. Frustration. That's what it was, frustration.
Yeah, and the emotions are raw after a game like that. You play 5 quarters and you fall just short. You mentioned earlier about Kyle Shanahan, how he needs to get the next one. When you look at this one, where do you think it went wrong for the 49ers?
You really want to know?
I'm dying to know, TJ. I respect your football acumen.
Yeah.
Y'all watched the game like I watched it. When Patrick Mahomes threw that interception, I, like everybody else, because I picked the Niners to win and I wanted to be right, I, like everybody else, said, oh, you get the ball on the 47-yard line. Run. You're at least going to get a field goal out of it. They pass, punt. I felt that was where the game started to turn. You ran the ball somewhat effectively in the first half, and you got away from it in the third quarter, got back to it midway in the fourth quarter. And to me, that was a turning point. Another turning point was, if you guys recall, Valdez-Scantling, he caught a hitch. And then he ran backwards and lost like 5 or 6 yards.
Yes.
It was 2nd and 15. Steve Wilks calls cover 0. But it was so easy to see. Everybody was off, and the rest of the guys were hugged up in the line. Throw a hitch, 8 yards. 3rd and 7. Cover 0 again, same exact look, first down. And I'm like, you cannot do this in a Super. Like, it's so easy to see what they're doing. And so I felt like those plays were critical plays. But ultimately, you have to bring that home when you're up double digits. And I felt like had they just run the ball after that interception, it put so much pressure on the Chiefs now to have to be perfect the rest of the game, because the defense did a hell of a job for 4 quarters, really, to be honest with you. The overtime, they kind of gave it up, but the defense was spectacular, man, through the whole entirety of the game with the exception of overtime. Offense has to do more, and part of that was Shanahan being a play caller. Let's run the ball a little more. If McCaffrey's going to get 40 carries or 40 touches, so be it. We are trying to win the game.
TJ, what's your take on the way the Steve Wilks thing played out?
Man. It kind of sucks for him because you just go through. The 49ers have been one of the best defenses in the National Football League year after year after year. And they lost the Super Bowl with Robert Saleh. He didn't get fired. They lost championship game with DeMeco Ryans. He didn't get fired. And so you lose it with Wilks, and he gets fired. But Wilks is running a defense that is not his own. He kind of had to adapt to what they had been running, and so it kind of sucks for him. It feels like he was the fall guy. But this is the National Football League, man. It's either you get it done or you don't. I don't care about how hard you work. I need results, and he didn't get Shanahan the results that he wanted, and so that's what happens.
TJ Houshmandzadeh with us on Willard and Dibs. Hey, I want to circle back to Brandon for one more. And I know you know exactly how this all works and the leverage game and whatnot. So let's say as Brandon is now extension eligible, but he's got another year on his deal, and he's still on a rookie contract. If the 49ers say to Brandon Aiyuk, look, we love you, but we're not ready to really do this right now. We're going to need you to go ahead and play the 5th year, and then we'll talk about it later. What do you do if you're him?
I'm not going to like it. I'm going to be pissed off for a little bit, and then I'm going to get my ass to work and go dominate another year. Now you're going to pay me more than you would have had paid me the year before. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be pissed off, and then I'm going to go bust my you-know-what, run myself into the ground in the offseason, get better, come back and dominate, and now there's no, can you take it? Nah, I'm taking everything that I deserve, and that should be his mentality. It's natural to be upset. It's natural. But once you don't get it, you got to put your head down and get to work, because if you don't play well, it will be, that's why we made that decision. And so yeah, it should upset you, but you can't let it affect you. It should upset you, but don't let it affect you at all. Get to work and come back and have a better year.
That's great old school advice right there from T.J. Houshmandzadeh. Strong.
We love having you on, man. Thank you for doing it.
Man, y'all keep up the great work, fellas.
Okay, brother.
Thanks, TJ.
All right, T.J. Houshmandzadeh.